All they can hear is this. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Well, good morning, fish family. So welcome to the first installment of Life After Jess. Not Life After Jess. You wouldn't like that. I wouldn't like that either. Anyway, so today we are going to talk about fish keeping on a budget, DIY stuff, because I know all of us need to figure out ways to keep costs down on things, and God knows the one thing that we do best is DIY stuff. So the first thing we should probably talk about as far as building your own is filtration, and there are an awful lot of videos out there to do DIY bottle filters and DIY sponge filters and all sorts of other kinds of things to keep your tank clean. And so I really was hoping that we could kind of talk about how to build canister filters and larger filtration for bigger tanks, because a lot of the time those little bottle filters they're just not going to cut it. So first thing first is that you can build filtration out of buckets. Buckets are great for creating larger canister-like filters, and really all you need to pay for is a little bit of tubing and some power heads and that sort of stuff. And you can build different kinds of filtration for larger tanks. They don't necessarily, like your bucket filters don't necessarily have to go under the tank. Sometimes they can go on top of the tank. Sometimes it's easier to pump water up to a bucket and then allow gravity to take over and bring the water down into your tank than it is to pump water up from gravity flowing down into a bucket. It's really kind of 6 of one, half dozen of the other, but it depends on what you set up. If you don't have room, obviously you have to build something on top. And if you do have room underneath, then it's easier to build something, or maybe not easier, but it's more convenient to build something underneath. So I'm hoping to get your questions.
Well, we won't be getting any questions from Alan because he's working right now, but he is listening. Hi, Alan.
Hi,
Glad you're here hanging out.
We're getting a little bit of feedback, apparently. I'm not sure how to fix that.
Still too close?
Yeah, probably too close.
Is that better?
I think so. So we decided to take the 1 o'clock slot instead of the 2 o'clock slot because somebody was going at 2, and
that's where everybody is.
No. We're an hour earlier than we were, so we have an hour to wait for them. We're still getting crazy feedback.
Okay.
I'm not entirely
Where should
sure
I
why.
go?
I'm not sure.
Be nice.
Cover your microphone. See if that fixes it. Does that fix it? No, that doesn't fix it. This is strange. Oh, yeah, it's Liz. It's you. What's that?
No, the feedback is what he's talking about.
Yeah, but I think that fixed it. No, I'm still getting it.
Yeah, you're breaking up.
I'm breaking up.
Jeremy Reed.
Hey, Jeremy Reed, how are you?
Hi, Jeremy.
So everybody meet my lovely wife. Whoop, that way. Heather. She's a logo today.
I'm a great logo.
You are a great logo. One of the prettiest logos I've ever seen.
Wow, that was nice.
Yeah. So how you doing, Jeremy?
He's like, yeah, and it was complete crap.
It was not complete crap. It was 100% true. Ooh, it looks like the puppies are going to sleep too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's nap time. Mama.
Good. That'll help.
So we're talking about filtration today. Anybody have any questions or thoughts on how they would like to have filtration? Please bring them up, and we will be more than glad to answer them. Hey, Scott's Aquatic. Sorry, man.
Hi, Scott's Aquatics.
So the puffer tank behind me is actually running on 2 bins, and the bins are built in such a way that they overflow a siphon to each other. So there's 2 bins working as filtration, and the first one gets water from the tank, and the second one pumps the water back up. And so I actually end up with almost 50 gallons more water than would be in the tank. So got a 90-gallon tank plus 50 gallons, well over 100, and that's going to keep water much cleaner simply because more water through filtration equals cleaner water. I'm still getting some wonky feedback over here, though. I sound like I'm in an empty room. Well, no. When my dogs go off, you'll know it won't be an empty room. I don't know.
You have an echo, apparently.
I have an echo. Well, yeah, I think it has to do with everybody being so close.
So close to each other, yeah.
Hey, Liz, do me a favor. Step out. See if that fixes it. I think your laptop is what's picking up the sound.
But I'm not answering.
All right, did that fix it?
Hey, Reef Robber from Oregon. Wow.
What's up, Reef Robber? Am I still echoing? Is it better at least? I do hear myself reverbing, which is weird.
Hey,
okay.
Holly's Haven. How are you doing today, hon?
Backwards Fish Farm. Holly. What's up, guys? No echo. Good.
Lunatic Finge.
I have an echo, but I'll just have to deal with it. Okay, so we were talking about canister filters built out of buckets. So you can build a canister filter out of a bucket for a grand total of about $75, but it has the same flow as like an FX6. So, you know, versus $350 or $400, $75 makes a lot of sense. Most of the parts, you know, you can get from your local Home Depot or Lowe's or whatever. The only thing you'll have to get elsewhere is probably a power head, and you can, you know, order those on Amazon. But the trick to those is just simply to, there's actually, with a bucket filter, there's one major trick, and that is your local hardware store sells a lid that screws on tight, and it's watertight and supposedly airtight, but anyway, it's watertight. And that's the trick to a bucket filter. You go get that lid. As long as you have that lid, you know you're not going to get water flowing out of the edges, and then you can just build in whatever plumbing you feel like you want to.
Hey, Jess.
Hi, Brienne. Hey, Jess.
Fishymon 64. And Greg the Guppy Guy. How are y'all doing today?
Hey, Jess, thank you so much. See the logo there? See the logo
Thank
there?
you, Jess. Jess is so awesome. Tell them what Jess did.
Jess sent us $25 so we could get our StreamYard stuff up.
Yeah, our logo on there.
Which is freaking awesome. Thank you. Brienne, JDR, what's up, guys?
Hey, Liz.
Oh, pin the link.
Yeah.
Pin
the link, honey.
Wait, hold on. I don't know how to pin it, but I know how to paste it.
I was gonna say, I don't see them.
No, Liz, your laptop is definitely picking up sound. How do I pin this link? Let's see. See if I can figure that out. I think if I go to YouTube. Oh, that's scary. I can hear me.
NKR, how you doing?
All right, I have to close YouTube where it goes all wonky. I think we're good though. I think we're good. Better anyway.
Aristotle 760.
NKR, how are you, kid?
today?
So listen, NKR. You posted up a video of you fishing, and it was a video game. Somebody needs to take you fishing. Because I mean that was cool, but you need to go fishing. If you come down here, I'll take you fishing. I promise.
We'll take you fishing.
We'll take you fishing. We'll take you out on a dock. You can like catch some saltwater fish. It'll be, and you can post that video. That'll be very cool. Still in ya? What's up? Oh, hey, there's Jess. Oh no, there's Terry. Hey man.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
Nothing. We're hanging out.
Hey, Terry.
You sound like you're in an auditorium.
I'm
That's
not.
what
I don't
somebody
know what
else
it is. It's
said,
weird.
yeah.
It's just the two mics are kind of close, I think. So.
You just filled a stadium. You're so popular.
Yeah, that's probably it. Almost 100% certain that's it. Hey Terry, do you DIY stuff on your tanks?
Not so much anymore. I used to. I played around with all kinds of experiments, but not so much anymore.
Now you can afford the big stuff.
I don't have I've got an entire fish room with nothing but sponge filters going in it.
Really?
I do have one sump filter, but that's on a saltwater tank upstairs.
Okay. You are running a sump. Are you running a refugium or a sump?
Just a sump.
Just sump. Yeah, man. You pretty much have to have a sump on saltwater. I guess I take that back though. I have one.
Nah, you don't have to have a sump. Back in the day, I remember tons of people doing saltwater tanks with just undergravel filters.
Yeah, I've got one on a canister filter that's surviving.
I do it just because of the versatility, because you can put your protein skimmer in it. You can put your carbon reactor down there. You can put your calcium reactor down there. You can just do stuff with a sump that you can't do with not having a sump.
Right. Is your saltwater fish only, or is it also corals?
Oh, that's a long story. It used to be a reef tank, so I had corals in it, mostly soft corals. I'm a big fan of the zoanthids and things like that, and they're relatively easy to take care of.
Yeah.
And the tank was a tall tank. It was a 37-gallon, so it was a pretty tall tank.
Okay.
And it blew a seal. It blew a seam.
Oh.
So I had to do an emergency tank transfer, and a 20 long fits the same footprint. So I put a 20 long on that stand, and I just put everything in that 20 long. And I didn't think about the lights. It had some pretty high intensity lights on it.
Right, to get through the deep water.
And when I put those lights down that much closer to the corals, I cooked them all.
Fried everything.
Yeah. So I right now it's a fish only tank because I killed all my corals.
Right. Yeah, mine is weird. Like, it started fish only, but I dropped some rocks in there that came from a rescue, and all of a sudden I have stuff growing everywhere. So
yeah,
that's one of the things I like about soft corals is that you can just drop a rock in there, and all of a sudden they just spread everywhere. That's always fun. It's always fun. So
I just think soft corals look better. I mean, they don't call LPS sticks. They just call them colorful sticks.
Right.
For a lot of their during the day, a lot of times that's all they look like is just a colorful stick. And don't get me wrong, man. If you love LPS corals, have at it. Or I'm sorry, SPS, right? Yeah.
SPS.
Short poly stony.
Yeah.
If you like SPS corals, man, I get it. I understand. It's just it seems like an awful lot of work just to have a colorful stick.
Well, there's truth in that. Yeah, can't argue that point.
Hey,
what's up, Sean? How you doing?
Jeremy, good to hear. That is fantastic. So what kind of fish are you picking up today after work?
Wait. You got to read his comment because I don't know what he said.
Okay. Hey, I just wanted to say my wife agreed I could start a fish rescue, so I'm picking up and rescuing some fish today after work. I just need to work on getting bigger tanks now.
Glorious, Jeremy.
Is he in Florida? We can help him with the
I
bigger
think Jeremy
tanks.
is in Florida, actually. And yes, we can help him with bigger tanks. And even if he's not in Florida, we can help him figure out how to get bigger tanks.
Yeah. Give us a call. That's great,
Yes, sir.
Jeremy.
Yes, sir.
Good to hear.
Jeremy, my phone number is on the website, so you can find it there if you want. Actually, my phone number is everywhere. It seems like it's not hard to find. Lunatic Fringe curls have got quite a learning curve. Yeah, I mean they do.
Yeah.
There's definitely some stuff you got to figure out, but once you get it set, the learning curve goes away, and you just basically keep up with maintenance, putting the right minerals in and that sort of stuff, or you just go to the beach and get stuff and don't worry about bottles of stuff. Terry, do you ever catch fish, or are all your fish from local fish stores or from ordering? Or
I've kept North American native tanks in the past, but I don't have any right now. I am on a collecting trip. I promised a guy that I would take him to a place to collect some natives.
cool.
So time later this spring when the water warms up a little more.
Yeah,
it's definitely a good time. I used to do it in the past. I'd go and just, wade around in a body of water, scooping a net through weeds and seeing what you could come up
Right.
with. But yeah, I don't do that too much anymore.
it's a lot of fun though, man. You come up with stuff and you're just like, wow, look what I found. Especially in Florida. In Florida,
In Florida, you could have a freaking baby arapima or
yeah, you could. All sorts of stuff. Actually, there's a lake here that they're paying anglers to try and get the clown knives out of. And
really.
yeah.
Yeah, except they want you to kill them when you
Well, I
pull them
know they
out.
want you to kill them, but
No, I want to go and get all of them.
listen, I'm telling you, they're probably not watching over your shoulder.
I don't know, man.
And
They
what?
might be good eating.
Oh,
Wow,
man.
Terry.
So what do you do, Terry? I keep running across you on streams. Do you breed for profit, or do you?
Yeah, the old fish room. Yeah, I bred an awful lot of fish for a so-called profit.
Yeah.
This incarnation, this is fish room 2.0. I bought this house and I've been dragging my feet and just really slowly building this fish room. So I haven't sold any fish in quite a while. But yeah, that's the ultimate goal, is just to pick something I like and breed it. And
Right.
Yeah.
that's the part of the hobby I really enjoy. I like raising, fish and going through the process. But you'll change as you go through the hobby. Your interests will change, or you'll get bored with a certain thing. You can breed guppies or live bearers for so long, and eventually you're like, well, maybe I want to breed angelfish or something.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Now I'm kind of geeking out on trying to get egg scatterers to spawn. It's a little more challenging in the fact of it's a challenge, number one, to collect the eggs before the fish eat them.
Right.
Yeah.
And then the fry are so small that it takes more of a specialized foods to get them to grow. So it's a little more of a challenge that way. And that's just something that's holding my interest right now.
It wouldn't just hatching brine shrimp cover that, or is there more to it?
No, barbs and tetras, their fry are so small when they first hatch that you need infusoria, cell organisms,
Right.
plankton. Yeah, you need stuff that's at a microscopic level.
Gotcha. Yeah, the fish that have bred here have been accidental for the most part, but they keep coming, and so we've got those zebra. I'm still thinking they're socolophes, but that's just me. And and we've got Texas cichlids that are breeding, and we've got convicts that are breeding like crazy.
Oh, like rabbits.
You
Yeah.
were referring to the Lombardo eyes, and yeah, you can call them a zebra. They're in the zebra complex.
Yeah.
When it comes to African ambunas, There's a whole complex. That whole Mylandia genus are zebra ambunas. They're in the zebra complex, so you can call them all day long.
Call them whatever the hell you want.
Hey, Lunatic Friends, you said you have a good friend of yours that wrote several books on reef tanks. Can we get them on the show at some point? That would be great.
That would be cool. Fisherman, how are you? So what we were kind of going on about is DIY stuff because we're broke. So with us, it's a necessity. Yeah. We may be broker than others. I basically ended up stopping my tech company, which I didn't do on purpose exactly because COVID knocked us out the door.
Oh, I hear I'm in the same boat.
Yeah. So we kind of switched over to this, and income has been nothing. But so we've really had to make do. And Joey DIY was something we watched a lot to learn some stuff, but I think we've improved on some of the things he did, because what he used to do, or what he does, is really simple: keep it cheap, make it a buck, that sort of thing. And
look at how famous he became just doing it.
I'm telling you. And God knows he's brilliant. The stuff he's come up with has been a boon to the fish keeping hobby. Everybody has learned something from him, I think. But so we've kind of tried to take what he does and make it a little prettier. So instead of taking a regular water bottle, we go to the dollar store and we pick out pretty stuff and kind of stick it together and make filters that look like they belong in a tank as opposed to just some bottle hanging out. And like all
Walmart,
all of our sumps are made out of bins. We go get those 28-gallon heavy duty, lock them down bins, cut holes in the top of them, and run our plumbing through them.
Yeah, all it's got to be is something that holds water.
Yeah, and as long as it's free of chemicals, which you do have to check, make sure they're BPA or BPH, whatever, I don't know, whatever it is.
Yeah, I know what you're referring to.
Mm-hmm. And as long as you do that, they sound pretty good. Mike, you sound like you live under a bridge. Man, I don't know what's going on with the audio today. It's being wonky.
Yeah, we'll have to get this.
I don't really know how to fix it. It's probably changing rooms or something. I don't know. But I wanted to sit in front of the puffer tank because it just got all scaped and pretty today. So you know how that goes. You always sit in front of the tank you just did a water change on. Right,
the cleanest one, yeah.
How do you spend an awful lot of time doing water changes, Terry, or you have a system that does it all at once? Or?
Well, yes and no. And it all depends. It's a constant evolution. Right now I do because the fish room's not finished, but once it is finished, it'll go a lot quicker. I'm a big fan of treating your water. Well, first of all, I got to explain. I live in a city, so I have chlorinated water.
Right.
Okay. So right now you can see that bucket or bin right there.
Yeah.
That's one of those 40-gallon Rubbermaid deals. So I'll put the prime in there, fill that up, and then pump the water from there into the tanks after, to refill them. But eventually I have the equipment to build a pre-filter and carbon blocks to remove the chlorine. So then I could just set the sink to, the proper temperature water and just fill it up from there, and I won't have to use prime. And
I keep getting an ad that pops up on my screen, regardless of what social media I happen to be on. I can't remember the name of it right now, and if you want, I will send you a link on it. But it is just a carbon pre-filter that attaches to your hose.
Yeah, that's what
It's amazing. $20 or something, and you just hook it on your hose and.
I've got all the parts and pieces from the old fish room, and I actually have a second bathroom down here that's just right off of this room that I'm in, and I did get permission from the wife that I'm going to rip the vanity sink out and put in a laundry tub type sink. I just haven't done it.
Nice.
Then once I put that sink in, then I'll run the plumbing and everything to have all my pre-filters.
Right.
Nice.
Yeah, I've got this big RODI thing that actually it came with the very first fish tank that was donated. The guy was giving up his fish altogether, and he gave us this 150-gallon tank and this giant commercial RODI thing.
Yeah, it's like 5 or 6 stage. It's wonderful.
It's amazing, and I've been using it for a year without having to change too many filters yet. I haven't had to change the
It's
the main membrane yet. Definitely need to put a carbon filter in it at some point. And the water flows through it pretty fast because it's a really tall membrane instead of those little bottle things, you know.
Sure.
And so I can pump through a lot more water out of that thing than.
Just be prepared when you go to buy the new membrane.
$300. I already looked it up.
Yeah, take your heart medication because you
Yeah.
will have a heart attack.
Yeah, $300 freaking dollars. But I don't know. We always find stuff
except there's dogs.
cheaper than you would
Or
expect.
that's
So
just
by
period to make
nosing
them
around a
small,
lot.
like excitement and stuff.
You
That's
guys.
what we do.
Sorry.
There you
Apologize.
go.
Okay. Put the
No,
D
No,
in
you got to
there.
mute her too.
Put the D in there.
Oh, the D.
They're all freaking out over on the chat. All right, so what's up, guys? Let's see. Jeremy, I'm so jelly right now, Heather, and I really want to go tonight.
That was Liz.
Yeah,
Oh,
one's
and-
going to show up at some point.
Lunatic Fringe. Sorry to hear that.
Oh,
right, that would-
that would be
be-
quite difficult to have him on your show. Florida Fish Rescue Arthur J. Thiel passed away a few years ago. Listen, we do ghosts. We do ghosts. That's okay. We have no rules.
But just hang it up.
Yeah, right.
That would impress me.
Yeah, wouldn't that be cool?
Right.
I mean, we might be rocking it if we can get a ghost on the show.
And it is a shame that it's part of ancient history that most of the old guard are not around anymore. And that is a
Jeremy
shame.
Reed says he's in North Carolina now. That's right. He told me he did live like freaking down the road from us.
Yeah.
And now he's in North Carolina, which is actually where we were thinking of moving at some point.
What made you decide you wanted to do a fish rescue?
Man, so it was really accidental, right? We were on Craigslist at one point, and this fella says, "Have this tank and
Two tanks.
two
Yeah.
tanks and a bunch of fish, and I need to get rid of them." So we really ignored it for about a week, and then it showed up again, and we ignored it again, and then finally we were like, "Do we really want to do this? Go get that tank?" And I don't know. We figured it out. We went and got it. So it was cool. We were just living with cool fish for a while. It was a Jack Dempsey and an Oscar who's still with us, and a parrot cichlid, and a baiting pair of Texas cichlids. And we really, to be honest, we didn't know exactly what we were doing. So we had kind of a rough learning curve real fast with a lot of big tanks.
We have some
Somebody's
feedback or something.
Mike is
Yeah.
really rubbing or doing something weird. So anyway, it started there, and then we were watching
Whatever you
Craigslist
guys
more.
just did, that fixed it.
Did it fix it?
Yeah, you're clear as all get out right now.
Oh, I think Heather had to mute. Yeah. So then we just kept watching Craigslist and seeing that this was happening all the time. There were always people putting up tanks and fish, and they would sit there for a week or 2 weeks, and we started, and then they would drop off, and so we figured somebody had taken the tank, and everything was good and fine. But then a couple of weeks later, they would pop back up again, and what we realized is that some of these people were really having trouble getting rid of these fish. And then what was happening with the fish? And we've always been very conservationist around here and very ecologically woke, I guess. We're always paying attention to Florida's ecology because I like to fish and I've watched the fish.
That's a 24/7 deal in Florida.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. But we realized there's a problem that needs to be solved, and that is that people don't know what to do with their fish. Now, a lot of the time fish get rehomed, and that's cool. But a lot of times they don't. And then when they don't, what happens with them? Well, what happens with them is they end up in the lakes and the rivers, mostly because people like their fish. They don't actually want to put them in a freezer and euthanize them. They don't want to, flush them down a toilet and wonder what happened to them. So they go and they go gently pour them in their local lake. And that's really bad for Florida's ecology. You know, we get, well, like that lake they're now calling Clown Knife Lake. And it's one of our bigger lakes because all of these clown knives have taken over the local populations of fish. So, you know, Heather and I talked about it for a few, months, and finally just decided, you know, we can fill this gap.
Yeah, there's a real need here.
There's a real need, and we can fill the gap. And so we just started doing it. And all of a sudden people were going, hey, we didn't know a fish rescue existed. Here's some fish. And we're like, oh, maybe we stepped in too deep. But then more tanks came along with the fish and, you know, bigger space, and we started clearing stuff out that had been in storage for years, and it just kind of took shape that way. It wasn't intentional, you know. And
well, that and we've had a lot of fish coming to us, or people calling us, and pet stores calling us with sick or injured fish, and they didn't, you know, and no, don't just let it die. We'll come get it, you know.
Started passing cars around
so that's what really that's what really hooked me in.
Yeah, they started calling it, and we'd get some wonky fish, but most of them we've managed to bring back to pretty good health. We've lost one or two in between, which hurts, but you know, they come in mangled, floating at the top of the water, so we feel pretty good.
How hard is it, or are you having success finding homes for
yeah, there are people call us all the time and say, hey, you know, can I come get this fish or that fish? They always leave with the little fish, though. Like, I've sent away some convicts, and I've sent away some Texas cichlids, and I've sent away, you know, a few, mostly smaller fish. I have not had anybody come and go, hey, I want, no, I take that back. We did send away 2 14-inch Oscars 2 or 3 weeks ago to a couple of guys who had just put a lake in, or a pond in their backyard, and they wanted Oscars in it. So, you know, we get those calls. We probably should get more of them, but I think that's up to us to market it better so that people know we're here. And, you know, we get a lot of traffic on Google, or Google My Business, and we get some traffic on the website, and we get some traffic in the social media too. But you know, we just need to keep pushing it out there so people know we exist.
Well, it's really cool.
Yeah,
it's definitely something I would never do.
It's you know, it's a joy at the same time as being an awful lot of hard work, you know?
Oh, yeah, that's just it.
It's a labor of love.
That kind of effort.
It's like any other rescue, right? You know, people bring in dogs and cats and whatever, but there's a million of those, and so dogs and cats do pretty well finding places these days. Certainly better than fish. I wouldn't say they do, you know, as well as they could, but fish have nowhere to go. Literally nowhere to go. If you can't find somewhere to rehome them, you know, from somebody on Facebook or you know, Instagram, you're just stuck with those fish, and then what do you do with them? So we're just trying, and what I really am trying to do, listen, so what we do is we have limited space. We're going to do what we can with the space we have, but eventually we're going to have to pass this on to other people. So I'm trying to get as many people as I can to you know, at least think about opening a rescue. Another state, another city, another town, whatever. I would love for there to be 1 rescue or 10 rescues in every freaking city, so that you know, fish aren't getting flushed and stuck in the estuaries. And if we can do that, the aquarium hobby can stop being the bad guy to the ecologists. Because right now we kind of, you know, the aquarium hobby is a bad guy to the ecologists. All the ecologists are like, screw those people.
As far as reputation only.
Yeah. No, absolutely. As far as reputation only, most aquarium hobbyists are
more responsible.
You know, so that's not true. Most of us who have paid attention to it are very responsible, but there's an awful lot of newbies who come in, who get a tank of fish. The fish start to die. They don't know what to do with them, and they dump in the water. And you know, they're not aquarium hobbyists. Those are just people who thought, I would like to have some fish, but they didn't really think about the process. And there are an awful lot of them.
Most of the major ecological problems are based more on, you know, corporate or company type issues than it is the individual hobbyist.
Yeah, well, I mean, you could track it.
But
I feel you.
They tend to focus on the individual hobbyists.
Of course,
take most of the blame, but we're only doing this much damage, whereas they're doing this much damage. But everybody focuses on this.
Yeah,
well, right.
But then you have to go back to the thing is where's the freedom in that, right? Because I can go back and say the local fish store is a bastard for selling plecos, common plecos, or I can go back to the fish farm is a bastard for selling common plecos. Or I can go to the person who buys the common pleco. So I mean, everybody bears some responsibility in that because common plecos get big, and people buy them.
Well, people don't realize it.
Them.
Yeah.
And if there wasn't a demand for them, the fish stores wouldn't sell them, and the fish farms wouldn't grow them, and whatever. But like in everything, it all comes down to money. The fish store is going to make money off of a common pleco because they can buy it for 22 cents and sell it for $1.50, and the fish farm's going to make money because they can sell 1,000 of them for $400. And
the thing is, though, is those fish farms aren't breeding plecos themselves. They're paying people in Florida to collect the egg masses, and then the farms just hatch the egg masses out. So in that particular example, the fish farms are actually doing a service because
they're actually helping
cases out of the wild.
Yeah.
So
thank you for putting that information out there, Terry.
One that didn't hatch in the wild. So
right.
That's a poor example of what you're trying to get at.
But you follow my meaning.
What you're getting at.
There are a lot of fish out there that probably shouldn't be in the hobby. I mean, the red-tailed catfish probably shouldn't be in the hobby. It gets really big. People don't know it. They buy this little teeny tiny cute fish with a red tail.
I'm guilty of it. I did it.
Yeah, I mean, and they're beautiful fish, and I understand wanting to keep them. But most people can't, and they don't know it when they buy it. And
most people don't have the room.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what.
The thing is people are well intentioned. They'll say, "Well, when it gets bigger, I'll get a bigger tank," and they don't set aside the funds to do so. And I mean, let's face it, big tanks cost a lot of money.
Yeah, they do,
and they cost a lot of money continuously. The upkeep on them is not cheap either.
Yeah.
So it's not like having you're going to put out $500, get a nice big tank, and you're done. Then you're going to spend another $100 a month making sure that it's maintained properly. So
and
people don't know that.
A phase. A lot of hobbyists, most hobbyists are constantly evolving in the hobby, and an awful lot of hobbyists will go through a monster fish stage. They get that first 4-foot long tank, and they're like, "Wow, this thing's huge!"
Right, I can put whatever I want in it. It's amazing.
You've only had small tanks, and then you get your first 4-foot tank. To you, that's a gigantic aquarium.
Yeah.
And fish wind up getting put in those 4-foot tanks that you can barely keep indoors at all.
Absolutely. They're very, a lot like the red-tailed cat being a prime example of that. Those guys get 350 pounds. We're not talking about a catfish that's going to stay the 3 foot. I have him in a tank right now, or in a pond right now. He's going to be 6.5 foot at some point and way too big for a pool. So I will have to find him an aquarium. But your average guy walks into the local fish store, sees this cute little red-tailed fish, and goes,
"I want that."
And that's another thing you brought up, Mike. You brought up something really good. That's another thing that goes through the mind of people getting these is, well, when it gets that big, I'll contact the Shed Aquarium in Chicago, and they'll take it.
And they'll say no.
Right now, the Shed Aquarium's already got one. They don't want another one.
Yep, that is correct.
Right.
And there's only so many of these big public aquariums, and they've already got those fish. They're not going to take yours.
Yep.
Yeah, you might as well stop that illusion right off the get-go.
Yeah, it is correct. Well, you with us, we'll drive it somewhere. So we'll go digging around, finding somebody that is interested if we get to a point where we can't keep it. If it gets that big, we'll find somebody somewhere, in the middle of freaking Kansas City or whatever it takes and drive it up there. But most people aren't going to do that. Most people are going to make it steak, I guess. I don't know what they're going to do with it when it gets that big, Hey,
gentlemen, hold on. Breaking news. Chubbs said that he'll start the Louisiana fish rescue.
Beautiful,
well done, Chubbs.
Beautiful.
You are awesome.
And listen, anybody who starts a fish rescue, I will build them at least a starter website so they have
Yeah,
something
we
to
will.
get started with. So all you have to do is buy a domain name and tell me where you want it to go, and we'll stick something up so
And
that
we'll
you can
do
at least
it.
get
Yep.
to work on it.
I'll be right back.
Yes, sir. That is awesome, Chubbs. That makes me so freaking happy. I can't even tell
Oh,
you.
me too.
Yeah, Atkins, and it doesn't help that those monster fish are cheap. That is, man, that drives me crazy. Okay, so you're going to buy a little red-tailed catfish, that isn't a rare one like the albinos or whatever. You're going to walk into a local fish store, and that fish is going to cost you $7. $7 freaking dollars. They don't tell you that it's going to be $30,000 in care, but oh my God, but I'll tell you what, some of the fish store clerks are getting better about it. That there are fish store clerks that 5-6 years ago, 4 years ago, they really didn't bother to tell you. They went, yep, that's a cute little fish, take it home with you. But I have listened to some of the fish store clerks around here say, listen, that fish is going to get big. You probably don't want that fish, and they're whispering so their manager doesn't hear them. But
Yeah, they're
but
pretty good around here.
they are getting good at it, or getting better at it.
Later, get back to Brianna.
Hey, Brianne asked how much our websites. Give us a call, hon.
We can put something together for you fairly cheap if you don't mind managing your own content. So anyway, just let me know. Or a little pacu for $4.99, Atkins. Yeah, I got 6 of those. I have 6 pacu that are 2.5 foot long. Well, no, 2 foot long, and it's because they were, that big when the kid bought them, and now they're that big. Those guys are real. Man, the pacu are such sweet fish. They are. They're a little
They
skittish.
are. I love the pacu.
Chubbs, do call me 727-351-2734. You can rewind it if you didn't write that down fast enough. Email is slfishrescue@gmail.com. Oh, you're in a hurricane.
Jess, I definitely knew what you meant, but I got to tell you what, there's a joke in that comment somewhere. I'm going to keep it to myself. But
What did Jess say?
You have a good night. Take a nap.
I don't see a Jess comment.
Lay down for
Good evening,
a
Jess.
bit.
Get some rest, hon.
Yeah, no kidding.
There's definitely a joke there, but I'm going to let it go.
Hey, honeyface, you got something weird going on. Your mic is like rubbing against something.
What's up?
Hey, man, how you doing?
I'm doing good.
Dude, I am excited. That is awesome. Do you have
Yeah.
you have big space already set up and ready to go, or do you need help? Do you need bigger
yeah.
space?
Probably need some bigger tanks.
Okay. Well, we'll get
But,
together on that, and I'll figure out how to get. I'll show you how to get that done. Also, I will show you how to set up your 501c3. It is
Yeah.
way easier than people make it out to be. It'll cost you a couple of bucks, but once you get it set up, you're done. And you do it every year. You have to file some stupid annual report that costs you a couple more bucks. But yeah, once you do that, you're able to give people tax write-offs for the stuff they donate, which means, if somebody has a tank they can't get rid of, or it's, the seal is broken or whatever, you can take that tank from them, give them a receipt, and they can go use that to get some money back from the Fed next year. So it's very, it works out for everybody, and that way you get lots of good stuff. And actually, I found that people really like to be shown when they're donating something like that, and I've got to get better at making videos when people give tanks. I always feel like I'm invading someone's house when I walk in with a camera, but when it comes to somebody donating a tank, they feel pretty good about it, and we've all got to get better at that. Lunatic Fringe says, yes, a lot of the big fish should be not readily available. It was part of what the pet shop that I worked for in the 70s. No fish ordered unless they could prove they had the tank space for them. See, that's the other thing too. So being a rescue, if somebody wants a big fish out of here, I am going to want to see pictures of their tank. I'm going to want to see pictures of the pool. I'm going to want to see where that fish is going. And they're not taking a fish out of here unless I know it's going to where it belongs, where it's going to be okay for the next 10 years or so. Right. And fish stores should do that. Fish stores should do that. They should do that with dogs and cats as well. I mean, there should be a responsibility in that.
Every person is able to take care of their own animal.
Yeah. There should be a
They should
responsibility.
start by looking at their kids. If they can't take care of their own kids, how they gonna take care of an animal?
Ain't that
Exactly.
the truth? Ain't that the truth? I like it when these guys come in. You know, we'll be standing in the fish store talking to one of the clerks and looking around, and somebody will come in and they've got that. They obviously don't know what they're doing, and they'll come in with 15 kids all going, I want that fish, I want that fish, I want that fish. And so they'll take home 9 fish that cannot go in the same tank together.
Oh yeah.
And the clerk just stands there and lets them do it. And you're like, no, please don't do that. But they do, because that's how they make their money. Same thing with the freaking betas, man. You know, of all the things that makes me the angriest, it's betas.
Oh yeah, the betas make me so upset.
It just makes me want to scream. And I honest to God, I think we should all in the fish hobby utterly boycott betas from local fish stores for a while. Because if they lose, and this is horrible, but if they lose a batch of betas that they paid $300 for, and nobody buys those fish, they're not going to do it again. You know?
Can I give just a
shoot.
slightly difference of opinion? The hobby needs gateway fish. You know, the hobby does need that.
I get that.
The common feeder goldfish, the beta, the glowfish, they're all kind of entryways into the hobby for young people.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, I mean, I get that.
Yeah, but why should we sacrifice the lives of these fish just for people to try to learn to take care of fish?
Because that's the way it works. I wasn't a very good hobbyist in the beginning. You know, I started off with that common feeder goldfish, and I got to admit, I made a whole bunch of mistakes with that fish.
Yeah,
luckily I was on a well, so, you know, if I would have been dealing with a chlorinated water source, I would have killed that fish as soon as I had it home.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't know what I was doing.
I ain't gonna sit here and lie and say that I haven't killed thousands of dollars worth of fish either.
Yeah,
but I mean, they need more education and up front before the people get it.
That's the thing.
Absolutely.
That's the thing. There should be, you know, when you walk into your local fish store, there should be a big placard above the bowls of betas that has a list of things you should know about this fish before you take it home.
I think the big box stores are actually getting better at that. I mean, don't they do give the care sheets and stuff like that?
They are getting better.
They are getting better.
They are. I appreciate that very much. That they're not as good as they should be, but they are getting better. They are getting better.
Right. So, this is a good point to bring up the education program that I want to start for Florida Fish Rescue in the schools.
And not just
I'm hoping
schools.
in the next year or two that we can do that.
Yeah, if we can get some videos produced that we can send into schools with a tank that we donate, you know, so that they're running on a little screen next to the tank all the time that says, you know, this is what you need to know about keeping your first fish.
When I was in junior high school, I think 5th grade, my homeroom teacher was also the science teacher, and he had a 6-foot-long tank in the classroom, but it was empty. And I was like, man, why is this tank empty?
Killed all the fish?
And no, he just said, well, nobody's taking care of it, and I don't have the time. And I said, well, can I take care of it? And he was like, yeah, do whatever you want. So I filled that doggone thing up, and I put North American natives in it. This was back, like I said, when I was a kid, I was always romping around.
Right. I
had all kinds of natives swimming around in that tank. And it stayed that way the whole time. That was what, 5th and 6th? Or no, maybe it was 6th grade, because that's what, 6th, 7th, and 8th. And then
6th, 7th,
go to
and
high
8th.
school in 9th grade. So it was 6th grade. And so I took care of it for those 3 years, even though I didn't have him as a homeroom teacher after that.
Right.
And then somebody else actually, after I left, somebody else took it over.
Picked it up? That's cool.
And it just stayed on and on and on.
And, that's super
I
cool.
got to admit, that was a nice experience. And a lot of people would, you know, number one, they thought I was really weird because I'm getting on a school bus with a bag of fish, you know. So
that's fun.
that
That just gets
really
you some attention, right?
in school. But there were that set of people that thought that tank was really, really cool. And yeah, I think every school should have some kind of tank.
We do too. And Heather,
Yeah.
Heather is seriously all about that. As soon as schools are back in session like they should be, then we will start donating tanks. We also donate tanks to veterans. We've got a couple of VFWs and local veteran societies that we're trying to get working with us. They kind of they go, oh, that sounds really cool, and then you never hear back from them. So it leaves it to us to chase them down. But we have the ability to get lots of free tanks because people are always going, well, I need to get rid of this tank, and nobody wants to buy it. You want it? So we get that a lot. So we would like to pass that along.
Tremendously.
Yeah, we would like to pass that along to the schools and to the veterans and to elder folks' homes at some point. But
right, ones that we don't need as hospital tanks or.
Yeah, it comes down to us, chasing it down because oddly enough, people don't call you back when you want to give them something free. Go figure. I don't know. It's weird.
So, did you see the text from Lunatic Fringe about the arowanas?
No. What?
That's horrible.
We stopped selling arowanas due to the fact that we knew that the heads were chopped off of the father to get the young arowanas too. That was before Asian farm raised. What? Why did they? What? They hunt?
They're male. Arowanas are male mouth brooders.
Yeah.
So they carry the. So it's just an easy way to get the fry out.
That's not an easy way to get the fry out. A spoon is an easy way to get the fry out. Why would you chop its head? That is
well,
no,
they eat the
okay.
arowana too. I mean, you're talking local people. They're gonna chop the head off anyways because they're gonna eat the fish.
Oh well, I guess if that's the case, then.
Wow.
But we just happen to have a spot in our heart for arowanas. They're just freaking amazing fish, and I hate.
Oh, so do I. I think an arowana is one of the most graceful things ever to watch.
Oh, they're beautiful.
They're very relaxing fish to watch.
Yeah.
And I love them to death too. It's just they just get too big.
Yeah.
Another fish that the poor fish that people are very irresponsible when they don't understand, that they jump 6 feet. They don't understand, all of the.
Everybody wants an arowana, but they
behaviors.
don't want to do what they have to do to make sure that arowana is in a safe space. Arowanas like to jump out of the water. That's what they do. That's how they feed. So you got to keep a lid on it or keep them in a spot where they're not going to come up 3 feet.
Yeah, and they don't realize how large they're going to get.
Yeah. But there are a lot of those fish in the hobby, and that is why there need to be more rescues. Chubbs, thank you, sir.
I don't really talk about or push the issue about monster fish because I'm a little concerned with number one, what agency is going to police it? What agency is going to say, well, these get too big for personal aquariums, so we can't have it.
Yeah.
And if so, if that does happen, then where do you draw the line? And they just start saying, well, you can't keep this species because of A. You can't have this species because of B. You can't have this species because of whatever.
We have a lot of that
and
in Florida.
It's a slope that you go down. And you also have to realize that there are organizations that think what we do is a horrible.
Yeah.
They think keeping fish in a glass box, we're Satan. We're evil.
Oh,
incarnate.
I know. Yeah.
And I look at it as if I talk about it too much, I feel like I'm just giving the opposition ammunition to,
So
the hobby.
I feel that, but I'm in the middle of that, right? So
exactly. I mean, you're in a spot where I get it, and I completely understand where you're coming from.
And listen, I love the hobby. I don't pick on breeders. I don't pick on fish stores, and I don't pick on farms because they're the reason that everybody gets to enjoy these glorious animals up close and personal. There are certain practices I would prefer they didn't do, but on the other hand, I don't want anybody to come in and say you can or cannot do this. The way we fix it is us and Chuck and whoever else can put up a personal aquarium that allows those fish to go to a safe place when they do reach a point where the average fish keeper can't keep them, you know?
So they're definitely subjects we need to talk about. Education, I think, is the key, and that needs to start with the younger generation.
Yeah,
Yep.
the younger, in the schools and wherever we can get them together to do it.
Yeah, and the other thing too is to try and communicate to people that the animal they're taking home is a pet, like a dog or a cat. It's not just the $5 that came out of your pocket to buy that fish. I get a lot of people who say to me, I lost $50. They don't say I lost 3 fish, or they do say I lost 3 fish, but they equate it to the $50 they lost, not to the fish lives. And
right.
So if I can get it across that, that it's a pet like any other pet, and they are friendly like any other pet. My fish come up to the surface and have the same kinds of animal to human conversations that my dogs do. And so it's not just it hurt your pocketbook. It should hurt your soul a little bit when you lose a fish.
Yeah, it should.
And if people understand that, then maybe they'll be a little more cautious when they start. I really hate the I'm going to go buy a fish tank, set it up, and then I'm going to run after it's set up. I'm going to run back and pick up fish the same day. No, the hell you're not. Not if you don't know what you're doing. There should be this, like if local fish stores could have a website that they just, before you even bought fish, they just said, go read this and sign your name to it so that you have so that you have gotten the explanation of what that fish is going to be. That would be helpful. And like we said, the local fish stores have gotten better about it. They just need to get better and better and better about it and keep continuing to get better about it. And they can do so without cutting their profits. It's certainly possible to sell fish without just selling a fish that somebody doesn't know what they're using. So instead of buying the arowana, maybe they want to buy a goldfish, and they should be able to teach people how to make that that differentiation. Wow, I can't speak today. Before they make that purchase. But I don't know. That's what we're trying to do. We're trying to bring that education forward. We try to get into fish stores fairly frequently, and let them know we're here. Let them put stacks of cards on their table, and make them understand that they don't really have to be accountable, but they certainly can be helpful. And pass it along.
I gotta let the dogs outside. I'll be right back.
Yeah, man, go. Brian, the email address is flfishrescue@gmail.com.
Right on. Yes, I had something to do.
So yeah, Chubbs, tell me what you want to do.
I want to see about doing what you do.
Man, I'm so freaking happy to hear that.
Oh, so am I.
What kind of space have you got?
I got 3-bedroom house, a big garage, got the yard, I put pools in.
Nice.
Make space or whatever.
So,
fantastic.
So first things first, get your Craigslist app or your Craigslist page open and just keep it open. People give away pools. Yep, Craigslist. People give away pools. People give away tanks.
They're trying to get rid of fish.
People give away, all Craigslist is.
They don't know what to do
flow
with
of
them.
things. Pumps, whenever I see a fish or a pool, the moment I see somebody giving away a pool, I jump on it. Not because I need the pool, but because they almost always have a pump and a sand filter and, little bits and pieces that you can cobble together to make a really good, good filter. Also, keep your eye out for those 275-gallon water totes. People give those things away all the time. Yeah.
But you have to make sure they were only used for water.
Or something, or something that isn't chemical. Like there's a lot of them that get used for like honey and for, food stuffs. And the food stuff.
Yeah, I've actually gotten one that was used for degreaser, and it took me about 2 months, but I got it clean enough to where it holds bacteria life.
Right.
Yeah, you can. It's hard freaking work, but you can usually there's a guy here that owns a restaurant. He sells those totes. I guess they come into his restaurant every couple of weeks or so, and he's always got those totes up for sale. But he wants $250 for them. So, I skipped
yeah.
him.
They want like 350 to 500 over here for them toads.
Yeah, that's crazy.
They're acting like they're gold.
Yeah. I literally I see them for free. Every 3 weeks I see one for free. Sometimes they're not in the greatest condition, but I do see them all the time.
Oh yeah. Well, I'm used to getting stuff in not the greatest condition. You know, the patch holes in tanks, and I'm used to that.
Yeah, yeah. And
Hey, Cooper Aquatics.
Cooper, what's up, man?
What's up, Coop?
Let me get to Gmail for you, Brianna. Hold on 1 second.
And Monster Fish Gal, I think you are fabulous. I just want to say that.
Corey is amazing. He's always on top of it.
He always does a good job.
In the chat, Chewy is talking about fish store employees. And here's the thing about pet store employees, okay? Because it kind of goes on to about what we were talking about earlier. Is pet store employees aren't the person like Mike, like Chubbs, like myself, like Corey. Maybe Corey's a bad example because he actually stuck with it. But keeping fish is not the cheapest hobby out there.
Yeah.
So
No? I hadn't noticed.
You're not going to get the person that has a lot of fish tanks working in a pet store.
Yeah.
Because they simply can't afford to. You know, to be this far into the hobby, you've got to have at least some kind of disposable income, and you're not going to get that working at a pet store.
No, you're not.
Yeah.
And well, you know,
I've learned from years and years of doing this how to take my hobby and try to use my hobby to pay for itself.
Correct.
So stretch it out as far as it'll go. And sell plants to get food for the fish, and sell fish to get new fish, to make more money, to get more fish, Yeah. And, make it go where it goes and do what it do.
Mac Aquatic, send an email to flfishrescue@gmail.com and we'll talk about it. Are you in Florida? So, the other thing about fish store employees is that they're usually young kids, or a lot of the time they're, young kids.
Yeah, it's their first job.
Their first job. They're fresh out of high school. They like animals. They got a job, and it also lies on the management and the ownership to train their employees. We have a couple of fish stores around here that the kids in there, even the young kids, are well trained. Man, they know the answers. They don't pull crap out of their backside.
Well, and that's the thing. If you need to teach your employees that if you don't know the answer, say you don't know the answer.
And go look it up.
Don't make stuff up.
There's a girl in one of these fish stores that I go in and I play with her and I ask her questions that she obviously isn't going to know the answer to, just to kind of mess with her. But she immediately pulls her phone out of her pocket and goes and looks it up.
Yeah, she's great.
And not only does she look it up, she looks it up twice to make sure that she gets two different versions of the answer. And I'm like, I love you. You should be
she's fabulous.
The manager of this freaking fish store and not just the employee. Because she does, man. She's on top of it. Now, they've also had a couple of them in there that you want to smack the taste out of their mouth. They'll just tell you anything. They don't care.
And then there's some that you want to smack the taste out of their parents' mouth.
Yeah, that's
when I walk into my local fish shop, I'm in there so often that they don't even ask me any questions anymore. Yeah. And usually when I buy fish, I just go, okay, I want all of these. I got some new additions up there.
Right.
It was a geophagus, and they didn't ask me anything.
Right.
When I go to a shop where they don't know me, and I go, I want such and such fish or whatever, and they'll do the whole, well, what size is your tank? And I look at them and I'm like, which one?
Right.
And they're like, what do you mean which one? And I said, I got more tanks than you do.
Brianna, I did get your email. Let me here. Let me reply.
But I've done that job. I've worked in 2 pet shops.
We got a monsoon coming in.
For the fish section.
Hey, honey, your mic is freaking out again.
It's a thankless job. I I mean, there's
It
dealing
is.
with customers every day. You get some customers that are really great and they're just a pleasure to be around.
Yep.
And then you get other customers and you try to tell them, well, you know, that's probably not the best idea or that's probably not the best way to go about it. But you got to remember when it comes to retail, you know, the customer's always right. So,
Yeah.
you know, it's really hard being that diplomatic that long.
Yep. I worked retail. I remember what it was like. It was horrific. And yeah, people say really horrible things to you.
Oh yeah, it's horrible. It's a thankless job. It really is.
It is.
Oh, yeah.
And I guess, you know, a lot of the time they try to make themselves appear smarter for that purpose, right? You got somebody yelling at you, so you're going to try and sound like you know what you're talking about, which is worse than sounding like you don't know what you're talking about, because you're lying to somebody and they're going to go do something stupid because of it, you know?
Right.
But I mean, but the truth of the matter is, like, most of the folks that I have met in fish stores do actually care about the fish. Now, do I run across the occasional, man, this kid over at this store a couple of weeks back?
Yeah, don't say the name of the store.
I won't. But he was a creep, and he turned out to be the freaking manager. And I was just like, "Are you kidding me? You're the kid trying to, you know, you're the one running this, and you're." Anyway, I left without
Right, and you're taking care of lives.
Yeah, I left without saying anything to him. But what I really wanted to say was, "You need to get a different job, kid." You know. But that said, 90% of the people I meet in the local fish stores and in the fish hobby in general are just seriously do care about their fish. And and you know, being here is really interesting because I meet people that really are sad to give up their fish. They really don't want to do it, but they have to for whatever reason.
I know the feeling.
You know,
I had a 4-foot moray eel that I had for 5 years, and I did not want to give him up. And
I remember you telling me about him.
Yeah, see, that's just it, Chubbs. You're exactly right. When you've got that much time and that much energy you took to grow that fish to that kind of size, you have
from the
built
size
a
of an ink
relationship
pen,
with that animal.
literally the size of an ink pen in all dimensions, to 4 foot long and bigger around than a grapefruit.
Yeah.
I mean, hand fed for forever. And actually, one of the first videos I put out is an old video of that eel eating a full squid out of my hand.
Wow. Yeah, you develop a bond.
Go all the way
you
back
really
to like
do.
the third video I ever did.
You know, guys, we need to get to some chat here for a second. Let's.
But I gotta get over here, Mike. I got some tanks I need to finish stealing.
Okay, Chubbs. Yeah, you do that. Thank you for popping up, brother, and thank you for
I'll give
what
you a
you're
call
doing.
later, buddy. I got
Yeah,
your number,
for what you're doing. Really glad to see that LFR, Chubbs. That's fabulous.
Yeah. I'm serious. We're gonna get that going.
Man,
Yay.
I'm so happy. I can't. I could plot. Thank you so much.
I've been thinking about it for the last couple of weeks. The last couple of times I heard you say it.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
Yeah. All right, buddy. I'll talk with you later.
All right, brother.
Okay,
Be
lots
safe,
of love,
man.
Chubbs.
All right.
See you.
See y'all later.
See you, sir. Oh, that makes me so freaking happy.
Oh, me
I'm so
too.
glad.
So Jeremy and Chubbs, we've got 2 more started and
Yep,
2
two
more
going.
states.
Yeah.
That is fabulous.
Oh, that makes me
we're gonna
happy.
save some fish, guys.
Let's roll back and get some chat here, because there are a lot of people who've been asking questions or saying stuff, and I have not seen any of it because we were busy running our mouths.
Hey, Vinokoski tanks.
I know Atkins works at a fish store. So they work at a fish store. It's a recent job, and I'm still learning how to interact with customers. But I do my best to ask questions about their tank setup and stuff like that. Yep, I know this about you, Atkins, and I think that's freaking amazing. Lunatic Friend says, I was already trained in fish before I worked in a pet shop at the age of 15. You must have had a dad or a mom that really knew what they were doing with fish. The owner was a member of the aquarium society they belonged to. I got offered the job. I did not apply for it. Well, that's cool.
See, that's something you don't see anymore, or not as much. I mean, it does happen. But back in the days before the internet, clubs were a big thing, and a lot of the owners would be a member of a club, or because they knew it was good for business.
Yeah.
And they would get customers that way.
Yep.
And that was actually a thing back in the day.
It still is. There's still some clubs around. There's one, actually, before COVID, there were a lot more of them. Now that there's COVID, people are like trying to meet in parking lots and stuff, and it's not working out so well.
I just meant the mom and pop shop interacting with the club.
Yeah.
And they would sometimes hold events, in
Yeah.
the store.
Yeah.
And you don't see that as much anymore.
No, you don't. Well, everything's corporate now, right? I mean,
Correct, exactly. The
to,
big box stores, they don't care about the local fish club.
no, they don't. And there are a couple, like I can drive to Sarasota for a local fish store that isn't local to me, but that is actually a mom and pop store. But in Bradenton, nothing. With the exception of this guy who grows corals, and he's freaking amazing. And he won't sell you anything, even though he's a store. But anyway, that's that guy. But
Hey, I have a quick question for Lunatic Fringe. Are you in Florida, hun? Lunatic Fringe said that he had to give up fish keeping because he's in a wheelchair. We can
And you gotta
help
call
with
him
that.
Chewy. Lunatic Fringe is Chewy in the fish fan.
Oh, Lunatic Fringe is Chewy? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So, like, Chewy, Heather is in a wheelchair, and she does at least as much as I do. The trick is...
Well, but it depends
make it accessible.
on it depends on what your injuries or what your, disabilities are.
Honey, you are paralyzed on a whole side. What are you talking about?
No, but I'm different though. I don't have any disabilities. I find ways around everything. That's what I'm saying. We can get this worked out. If Chewy's in Florida, I will come over there.
No, Chewy's in Canada. Chewy's a
Oh
Canadian.
darn! I will come over and put a tank up for you
Sorry,
and
that
come take
Canadian
care of
thing
it.
is a joke. Atkins, buddy, go to work. Appreciate you, man. Be safe.
Hey, Chewy, do you put vinegar on your French fries? Inquiring minds want to know.
I do.
What?
Yeah. Oh,
Oh
yeah.
yeah,
Are you
it's
kidding me?
good.
Oh God!
Oh, yeah,
You know
man.
that's a Canadian thing.
That's a British thing. The Canadians.
Well,
stole it.
yeah, Brits do it too.
But no, listen. I'm serious. Get yourself some. What kind of vinegar it is? It's not
Malt
regular
vinegar.
Malt vinegar. It's malt vinegar. Malt vinegar and a ton of salt. I mean, like when you do that, the French fry isn't for French fry purposes. It's just to get vinegar and salt in your mouth, and it's amazing. It's amazing.
I went to a McDonald's in Canada and I got the vinegar packets along with, like they give ketchup out here.
Yeah.
And I'm like, the heck is this?
Right. No, it's good. It's it started with the fish and chips, right? Because the Brits like to have they serve their fish and chips in a newspaper, wrapped in a newspaper, and you get these chunks of fish and the French fries in there, and then a bottle of malt vinegar, and you just dump that all over the vinegar and all over the fries, and then you dump a whole bunch of salt on top of it, and it's really, really good for the heart and spectacular for the arteries and the high blood pressure, but right now all the fish keepers are going, no, don't eat the fish. No, listen, I eat some fish. I'm sorry, it's true. I try
Actually,
not to.
I'm cringing about all the salt.
As if you didn't know I'm a saltaholic. Stop it.
I know you are, and it makes me cringe.
Anyway, So we have been on for an hour and 13 minutes. We went at 1 so that everybody could, or so that whoever it was that was running the stream at 2 could run their stream and we wouldn't be in the way. And we're running over them. So I love you guys.
Who is it? Who's going on?
I really honestly don't remember. Jess and I talked about it. I thought it was Bree, but I could be wrong.
Well,
But whoever it was, I do feel like I made a commitment to let them have their slot, and so we're gonna have to get out of here and let them have
thanks
their
for
slot.
having me on, man.
Terry, thank you for
like
hanging.
what you guys are doing.
I appreciate you, brother.
yeah, thanks for hanging out, Terry.
Yeah, and all you guys, thank you for hanging out with us. And it's Jen that's going now. Thank you, Brianna.
Thank you, Brianna.
HSIF more is Jen. So we'll all pop over there and go bug her. And thank you
Somebody
guys.
dropped the link in the chat.
Yeah, link would be helpful. I think I know where it is actually.
I'm not sure if I'm familiar with who that is.
Thank you, Fishymon64.
I can't get to it fast enough, but.
And if that's 3 p.m. Eastern, that means they don't come on for another 45 minutes.
Oh, is that right? Well, then we'll stay. Listen, if that's true, Breon, then we will just stay and be irritating until 3.
Oh, I'm good at it. I can
Okay.
irritate the heck out of people.
Well, I need more coffee then.
Heather, coffee would be great. I would love some freaking coffee. You can send Liz
That
in,
was
and
smooth.
Liz will help. I think maybe. So are we sure that HISF Moore is going at 3, so we don't override her? Are we positive? Are we certain? Listen, the one thing I wanted to, the way I feel about this YouTube thing is I really, really, really want to be, I know I'm fairly new at this, and I want to make sure that I'm respectful to as many people as I can, and make sure that, I don't want to overrun anybody. I know we're going to cross paths from time to time. It's the way it's going to work, and there's no two ways about that. But I do want to make sure that, that we don't get in the way of somebody who's been doing this for a while. And
yeah, I'm the exact same way. I'm just as new at it as you are.
Yeah.
And I feel the exact same way. There's no reason for us to compete against each other.
Absolutely not. If we can make the space, let's make the space.
Yeah. Oh, we're all doing a good service.
And actually, I think we should all just go jump on each other. Like every panel should be 15 people that are just moving across the screens from everybody else's.
Right.
Well, that was a thing that, believe it or not, it was Corey that kind of gave the life to the whole fish fam thing anyways.
Okay.
And he looked at it differently. Some of the YouTubers before Corey, they were real competitive with each other in the early days of YouTube.
I've run into a little bit of that lately. So
Corey's the one that kind of said, look, a rising tide floats all boats.
Yeah.
He's really good at that.
Oh, I like that saying.
That's his saying. And he was like, we should work together. And he was the first one to coin the whole fish family. He goes, we're all a family doing the same thing. We might have difference of opinion on quite a few things.
Yeah.
But he did the whole thing of, look, a rising tide floats all boats. We can help each other. And there's absolutely no reason why we need to compete with each other.
Wholeheartedly agree. And God, I'm keeping that saying. I'm sorry, Corey.
Yeah,
I'm going
I like
to
it a
steal it.
lot.
You're going to hear it sometime. And I will give you credit. But
So, hey, gentlemen, Vinkovsky tanks, did we address, and since we have a few more minutes, they asked some questions. I don't think that they were addressed very well.
Okay, well, let's run back and chat and find out what the heck we're doing. Vinkovsky.
I don't want anybody left out.
I don't either. And
I like answering questions.
I am so bad with keeping up with chat, and I got to get better at it. Actually,
Me too.
Heather, that you are doing what you got to do, and we'll all get better at it together. Any opinion about some YouTubers about keeps buying predator fish and monster fish for their video, then after several months they didn't show it anymore in their vlogs or video? I have opinions.
Yeah, be careful there. My mind's going a million miles an hour too. And
I have
yeah.
opinions.
Edit before it comes out the mouth, guys.
Let's just say I have opinions, and we'll leave it at that. And
Get me on ask that same question on my channel late at night after I've had a few, and you'll probably get a response.
Yeah, those are the late night drinking channel.
Right.
Those are the we've put them in, and Jan is here, and he's been doing whatever he does. We'll get.
Yeah, Jen is great.
Jen is great, man. He was definitely having a good time the other night for sure. Back Aquatics, the email address is flfishrescue@gmail.com. FL for Florida, fishrescue@gmail.com. Breon, I promise you I will answer all your questions after the chat, or after we sit here and be weird for a while. Whatever it is we do. Yeah. So, I started this thing off with DIY stuff, and nobody cared. So thank you, Terry, for coming and making it better than that. Why are we?
I'm just a moron with a fish tank, man. Don't blame me for this train wreck.
Man, I feel that. The turtles are update. The turtles are doing fine. So they are not eating the fish. They did the very first day. They saw giant goldfish, and they have been fed on feeder fish all of their lives. So they saw these 12-inch freaking goldfish, and we're like, oh, heaven. And chased them around a bit.
What kind of turtles?
One is a yellow-bellied slider, and the other is a red-eared slider. They're both
and they're both invasive here in Florida, so I'm really glad that they came to us.
Yeah, because otherwise they were going to dump them in a lake, and there was no two ways about it. I'm sure they didn't have any other options. So anyway, they're here, and they're in the pool with the goldfish and the catfish and everybody else, and that floating wood that I have, that punked wood that will never sink, turned into an absolute blessing. They have something to climb up on. Hopefully they won't eat all of my plants, though I'm sure they're going to decimate some of them. And yeah, they're good. They're good. And as soon as I fed them,
we should put some kale around the pond. They love it.
Should put some kale around the pond, except that we don't have any dirt for it to grow in. So anyway, we'll figure that out. But you're right.
We'll
Kale's a good idea. At least we should go buy a bunch of bags of kale and just start throwing it in there for them. That'll keep them from eating the pothos.
Yeah.
Maybe. Maybe. Pothos apparently is tasty. Has anybody in chat ever tasted pothos? Because apparently
I thought it was poisonous.
Apparently not. My fish eat it all the freaking time.
Really?
That and the caladiums. The pothos and the caladiums, if they're not up out of the water, they're gone. They eat the hell out of them. Yep. So
shows you what I know. I'm not a plant
Okay,
guy,
let me
so-
throw this out there. Please, no people try to eat pothos or caladium unless you research it first.
But you can still let us know how it tastes after you research it. Poisonous to cats, not sure about dogs. Really?
I knew there was a reason why I didn't have pothos, so it might be the cats thing. I don't know. I gotta re-research it.
Got to be cats because the fish don't seem to care. I think it's so weird how different animals have different things that are poisonous to them. Dogs can't eat grapes. Grapes will kill a dog, but chocolate will kill a dog. But a cat can lick your Hershey's all day long and eat your grapes, and it doesn't matter. You know, I just find that bizarre that their internal organs are so different that things like that can be poisonous. Oh, Fishy Mom says it's poisonous to cats and dogs.
Yeah, I knew there was a reason why I didn't keep it here. And it's because I have both. I have cats and dogs.
I do too, but my dogs don't eat it, so they're like, I'm not eating a freaking plant. Give us a steak.
Well, they're fed very well.
Yeah, they are fed very well. My wife actually makes them dinner every night. She cooks it on the stove. They get better dinner than I do some nights. Some nights they're getting fed steak, and she's like, fend for yourself. Go find some freaking leftovers. Mm-hmm.
My dogs are mad at me right now. I got yelled at when I went to the vet the last time. Apparently, I've been feeding mine too well.
Got a little pudgy, did he?
Yeah, so they're on a diet, and they're not liking me too much right now.
Yeah, yep. Well, luckily ours are all still young. They're all still under 2 years old, and they run it off. God, they run it off. They run it off.
And they're very well balanced too. Well balanced nutrition.
Is there anything in chat that I'm missing that's important? Poisonous to cat and dogs. Disclaimer. Yes, that was a disclaimer. Collaboration of curiosities, but that's all it was. We still want to know how it tastes.
Is that the coolest YouTube name ever?
Collaboration of curiosities. Yes.
That is a really cool.
Yeah, that is
brilliant.
brilliant.
I wish I was cool enough to come up with a name like that.
Right. I would like to know how long she sat around thinking that one up. The only problem with it is that when people type out just the letters, it's cock. Which is a problem. What? It is a problem.
Okay,
Listen.
daytime show, sir.
Oh, daytime show.
Yeah, because
listen.
I'm watching better.
Stop yelling at me. But
What, you're talking about the hump that cichlids get on the top of their head?
that's exactly what I'm talking about. Yep.
So,
Well
come on, guys, get your
done,
mind out of the
Terry.
gutter.
Thank you.
Heather was the one that went there. We
Yeah.
didn't go there.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, just trying to keep it clean, gentlemen.
What?
No, I know Mike, and it'll continue.
Anyway, I'm just saying.
Thank you, Terry. That was very good.
So tell us, collaboration. How did you come up with that amazing name? Now I forget it's live. I'll sit here and I ask a question and then I sit there and watch the chat.
Yeah, there's a delay. I do the exact same thing. That's why I've got to get StreamYard, because I need to talk to somebody.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, no, it helps.
If it's just me babbling on, and then you got to wait for the delay,
Yep.
and it's just absolutely horrible.
Jess and I were just talking about that.
It's really nice to have that someone that you're talking to live.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
You almost can't do it. I mean, you can if you're one of those people. Like, I have done the occasional by myself live stream where I just babble incessantly, and I think people come in and go, "Oh my God, this guy again."
Yeah, who is this moron?
Yeah, but if you've got people to chat with, you know, Jess and I were just talking about it when we got off the stream the other day. Kevin had been on, and Kevin is freaking amazing, because Kevin is on every live stream, and he is just there to read the chat, answer questions, and give you a buffer. And like, we all need that guy. And that guy really runs the show. Without him, you got nobody to bounce off.
Yeah, he is a fabulous co-host. Yeah.
Yeah, he is. He's spectacular. I love that guy for that reason. Even when he has nothing, to talk about, he's always there making the show flow, because he's paying attention to the chat and reading stuff out. And God, yeah, I mean, that person is absolutely super valuable. And Terry, I will be that guy for you if you ever decide to live stream. You just let me know, and I'll come pop up for you. And,
I do them. I got to learn the whole StreamYard thing, because on YouTube you can't have that second guest on there. So
Listen,
I got to learn the whole thing.
There's nothing to learn. It took me a day to figure it out. StreamYard's not hard. I think it's actually easier than YouTube. There's a couple of buttons to push, but you'll sit around for an hour and push some buttons and figure out how they work.
Give us a call after we're done.
Yeah, if you want, I can walk you through it. I bet you're not going to need me. It's really easy. Just go sign onto it and create an account. And
okay, so collaboration answered your question.
I didn't want to restrict my content to just fish keeping, etc. So collaboration of curiosities was born. Well, that's really easy and simple and makes total sense. But I wanted more fun than that. No, really, that was great. Yes, Kevin is good because he wants to learn and ask the right questions. Absolutely true. Absolutely true. Fishymon!
Hey, what's up?
What's up,
Mike?
man? How you
Harry?
doing?
What's going on, man?
I just came up to show off my tank a little bit.
Good. What do you got there? What are we looking at?
Oh, look at how fat that one rummy nose is.
Man, you're looking at the rummy nose. I'm looking at that plant. Look at that freaking...
I know. I was looking at the plant, too.
That's moss.
It is glorious. It has grown into a freaking bonsai tree.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
I got plecos in here. I'm trying to grow them out. Hopefully one day they will spawn.
What kind of plecos are they?
They're king tiger plecos, and I also got 6 king tiger plecos and 7 leopard frog plecos in here.
No, yeah, you're gonna end up with babies.
Nice.
You'll end up with babies. You put that many freaking plecos in a tank, you're guaranteed to get some eggs. Those rummy nose tetras are huge too. Look at those guys.
See,
They're beautiful.
that's one of the leopard frogs right there.
Look at him. Oh, he is pretty.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. The tetras I keep in there as bitters.
Right.
I got candy cane tetras and rummy nose tetras, and I just got 6 zebra Daniels from Popsy Fishes that she bred herself.
Nice. Very nice. Yeah, I like keeping the fish buying in the fish family, If we can stay within each other and support each other that way too, that's amazing. Rather than running.
Oh yeah, I totally agree with that.
Yeah. Well,
$2
other than the sick or injured fish that I see when we're in the pet stores, and then I have to buy them and bring them home because they need help.
That happens a lot.
Well,
but other than that,
now, oh. All right, I gotta say this diplomatically without.
You don't have to. We know exactly what you're going to say, and I agree.
I do have a problem with people going into a pet shop and saying they rescued something. If you paid money for it, you just paid money for a sick fish.
Well, except
And I'll leave it at that.
now, I get you. Except that pulling a sick fish out of a tank, sometimes they give them to us, but a lot of the time you got to put some money out for them, and the purpose is for us is to bring a fish home that is not going to make it if it's not cared for properly, or is going to infect the rest of their fish. So we walk in there next week and everybody's dead. So there is some rescue involved in getting a fish out of a tank that isn't well.
If a pet shop loses a tank full of fish, this is my opinion.
No, you're 100% right. I feel that.
If a pet shop loses a tank full of fish, then they have to eat that loss.
Yep.
And it should teach them to have better husbandry and do other things. And I don't know how much paying money to the shop for a sick fish
helps that process. Helps
the hobby, because they're like, well, whether they're sick or not, I can still sell them.
Yeah. Well, that's how I feel about the Siamese fighting fish, the betas too. If you stop buying them, they're going to stop stocking them. And
Correct.
I agree with that point of view, except that my wife is a bleeding heart lover of fish.
Correct. It tears at your heartstrings.
Yep.
And like I said, I'm trying to be diplomatic with this, and I can get where I can see both sides of where we're going with this, but I lean more towards if that pet shop keeps losing fish and it keeps losing money, eventually they'll figure it out and do something different. You would think.
Listen, we have this one pet shop.
But you
here.
also got to remember, if you own a full service pet shop, the profit on that individual neon tetra is nothing.
Yeah.
That is not why that pet shop exists.
That's right. It's the food and
it's everything else that goes along with it.
Yep. 100%.
So, yeah, I don't know. That is a gigantic wormhole you can go down. There's quite a few different opinions on what is what. Yep. I just wanted to give a little bit of a differentiating opinion. Heather, I mean, absolutely no offense, and feel free to
you're
buy
fine. I was reading
whatever
chat.
fish you want to buy.
Yeah.
You're fine. And I will still continue. I can't just leave them there. So
her and I have these arguments a lot too, because we'll be in the fish store and she's like, that fish is going to die. And I'm like, yeah, that fish is going to die. And she's like, but if I give him $10, I can take it home and try and keep that fish from being dead. And I'm like,
and then it's probably going to die in your house.
Yep.
Actually, they usually don't.
And that's true.
That's really good, Heather. And you're definitely outside the normal. And my hat's off to you. Trying to take care of sick fish is something I'm not very good at.
Terry, I have honest to God seen her give a fish CPR. I'm not even kidding you. I have watched her swim fish in a tank for hours at a time, getting water through its gills to bring it back to life.
Yeah, I don't have that kind of dedication.
Me either, but man, she's on it. She does not care. She will give up everything to make sure that fish is okay, and she does.
Yeah.
What I try to do too is I try to get my fish if I do buy fish from pet shops, I try to buy it from mom and pop pet shops.
Yeah, I think we all agree there.
Yeah.
Instead of the big box pet shops.
Yeah.
Yeah. I try really hard not to frequent the big box pet shops for purchases very often, but because I have to get our name out there, we do occasionally go in, drop off a stack of cards, and go home with one fish, just because I feel like it's crappy to go in and hand them cards and not give them money. So, I'll go in and I'll buy something tiny and hand them a stack of cards and have a chat with the salespeople and out the door. But they've all been very welcoming. They really are. Even the big box stores, they're all very welcoming.
They call us. They work with us.
Absolutely torn when it comes to mom and pop shops and the big box stores. I don't think the big box stores are evil. It's just an evolution. It's just like what Walmart did to Kmart.
Yeah.
It's kind of the same thing.
It is. The difference with the big box stores and the local mom and pop stores is that you used to be able to go in and the owners were the people that you had to convince to do the right thing and be helpful. Now it's the employees. The owners are corporates, and
Right.
and they don't care. And the managers are there to get their bonuses, and they don't care. Well, not always, but a lot of the time, it's the kid that runs the freaking the actual fish room that you want to get to know. And I'm
And
okay with that.
again, that goes back to the problem where these positions don't pay enough.
Yeah.
So you've got a kid with a lot of, or you've got a kid with little experience.
Yep.
Can't afford to run a 50 tank fish room
Yep.
on his own. So, yeah, it's an issue. And,
Yep.
and I'll be right back. Somebody else talk. 'Cause,
All right, brother.
I could wind up going on a rant, and I really don't want to do
I know
that.
it's easy. It's easy. So, Fishymon, tell me about what you got that one tank. Do you have more tanks than that, or is that your one tank? Or
Well, I only have 3 tanks.
yeah, well,
This is another one. I got bristlenose pleco grow outs in here.
Nice. Very nice. Are you raising for profit, or are you just raising because you really like them, or?
Well, they bred and
Right.
I'm keeping the
So
babies.
now you got some, and there's nothing you can do
Right,
about it.
and now
Gotcha.
you
Yep.
have
No,
some.
well,
Yeah.
I'm taking them. I'm gonna take them to my mom and pop pet shop eventually and trade them in for store
for store
credit.
credit. It's good that some of them still do that. The big box stores don't do that. They're like, we'll take.
No,
your
they
fish.
don't. I asked the Petco if they would take them off my hands, and the one fish employee told me that they're corporate and corporate does all the buying.
Yep.
So,
Well, I've had a lot of them say they'll take them off my hands if I give them to them. I'm more than glad to take your fish and resell them. I get that a lot. We've got one here that when we first started having convict cichlid fry out the freaking yin yang, I started calling around to see if anybody wanted them, and I figured 50 cents a piece would be reasonable. No, they were all not buying them. You can bring them in, we'll take them and sell them for $5 a piece each, but we're not gonna.
I got a bunch of baby pleco in here too.
Nice. Wow, you are like the pleco king, man. You got plecos everywhere.
And this is a 90-gallon. This is my 3rd tank. I only have 3 tanks. I'm a very small fish room.
No, listen, there is no small. There's comfortable. There's whatever it is that allows you to keep fish in the best way you know how.
My
You're
fish
better
are
off- No,
my
you're
fish are
better
my
off-
zen.
Go ahead.
I come down every morning and sit in front of the tanks and just look at them, and it relaxes me for the rest of the day.
Yep. Yeah, that's how we all got started with this, right? You sat down and looked at a fish tank, and you fell in love with the fact that you could just sit there.
Yeah,
and
I'd
watch
rather
this
see
real thing
somebody
unfold.
with 3 tanks that are done well than 50 tanks that are done
Poorly. Yep.
fast.
Yep.
Like this.
Now your tanks look good behind you, man. You got nice clean stuff going on back there. I keep kind of natural tanks, so a lot of my tanks, like the one I'm sitting behind me right now, is just freshly put together, so it's all sparkling, fresh and new. But most of our tanks are fairly natural. I mean, we've got some algae growth, and I don't spend the time scrubbing them like everybody else does because that's we're not show tanks. We're basically
Right.
just bringing in what we can as fast as we can and move it. And actually, we grew a little too fast. I mean, I would have loved to have been able to establish one tank and then wait 6 months and establish another tank and then wait 6 months and establish another. We didn't really get that option. We went from one tank to 18 in 5 minutes basically.
Right.
So, so we're still working back stuff that we would have liked to have done better in the first place, and rearranging and trying to figure out, like, I really, really, really want to be able to flip a switch and have all my water go out and new water come in. That's what I want. But that's still probably a pretty good ways away, though I am slowly working it out. Like with the pools outside, I just go out and backwash the filter and everything runs out, and then I put the RO filter or the RO water in, and I just let it run. And so that works there. But inside, I'm still doing every freaking tank by hand, and I got to figure out a way to fix that.
But yeah, fishing man, those tanks look great. Your fish look healthy. Just keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah, man, you got pretty stuff going on there.
you know, I like looking at fish. I like keeping fish, and if they breed, all the better, you know. But yeah, I don't want to get overwhelmed, and then
Well, you're gonna look at all those freaking fry. You're gonna need some tanks, brother. Those guys are gonna grow out.
Well, hopefully I'll get rid of them at my mom and pop.
Yeah.
Because I also got some super red plecos coming and some green dragons.
Nice.
4 in each. And
Very
those
good.
I hope to breed as well. And, you know, pass them on to fellow fish keepers.
Right. Very, very nice. I love plecos. You apparently really love plecos, but
Yeah.
cool.
Just something about plecos that I think they are really cool.
Do you have Corys too, or just the plecos?
No, just plecos mainly. And you know, I like tetras as dither fish.
Yeah.
I just like to see them swim back and forth in the aquarium. Plus, they keep the pleco feeling safe.
Yeah. Tetras are great. They're always full of movement. They're always doing stuff. You know, they're not just kind of hanging out in one spot.
They make the pleco that are shy feel safe in the tank.
Right.
Because I always see fish swimming above them.
Okay, that's interesting. The feeling of plecos.
Because this is not mine. I've heard other people say this.
Yeah.
If you're a pleco in the wild and you don't see fish swimming above you, you know
You
there's
think
a
there's a
predator.
Right.
To hide.
Boy, I like that piece of information. That is good stuff. Thank you for that.
I think
You've never heard of dither fish?
I have heard of dither fish. I guess I didn't really understand that their
that's
purpose
the whole
was
concept behind it.
Okay.
And it works for all kinds of fish.
Yeah.
If you can look out of your cave and see fish swimming around, then you know there's a predator fish around.
What if you're in a tank that's full of predator fish? Then what?
Then you're SOL.
Because my plecos hang out with a 3-foot long red-tailed catfish. So
I was gonna go there. I mean, armored catfish, for the larger armored catfish, really don't care.
Yeah,
like a common pleco, he has no real predators, you know.
right.
Unless you're like
species of pleco, those are the large, real squeaky, the cactus type plecos.
Yeah, nobody wants to eat that.
They
Nobody
don't
wants to
care. They're like, they actually swim around going, dude, try to eat me.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Try.
Your mouth is going to hurt for days. Yeah. Yep. Collaborants are reading.
A
Not just call me
lot of
bleeding
fish
heart, too.
actually die from eating large pleco.
Oh yeah,
Because
I'll
they
bet
get
that's
wet
true.
in their mouth, you know, and
Yeah, I'll bet that's true. When they starve to death, sure.
Yep.
Man, plecos are kind of rough. Those are some, like, you ever pick up a pleco? They do not bend like a fish. They do not. They're like a freaking rock, and they are armored like crazy.
Yeah.
They
I
are tough.
actually lost a Pimlaudus pictus, the pictus catfish, the silver black dots.
Yep.
Because I added them to a tank that had autosinkless in it. And I had thought that I removed all the autosinkless out of the tank.
Right.
But evidently I missed one because autosinkless are pretty small.
Yeah.
And that doggone thing tried to eat that auto. And the auto put his pectoral spines and dorsal spine out.
Yep.
And I literally found the dead pictus cat with the autosinkless still in his mouth.
Yeah.
And the autosinkless lived.
Was still alive. Yep. He was just he'd wait for that fish to rot out and then eat his way out of it. That's what he would do.
Exactly.
Yep. Yeah, they are.
That's nature for you. That's survival of fittest.
That's the other thing with fish keeping is that you have to remember that it is, that you have created an environment for them to be natural in, and they're going to be natural sometimes and eat each other. I mean, it's going to happen.
Fish eat fish.
Fish
That's
eat
how
fish.
it is.
Yeah, and we're pretty lucky. We don't get a lot of predation in any of our tanks, and I just claim to be the fish whisperer, but I think it's mostly just because we overfeed.
Thank you for
Everybody's fed,
using
so.
that word, predation. Predation is a word that needs to be used a lot more because a lot of times people will use aggressive.
Aggression, yeah, and it is predation.
And it's not aggressive. I mean, if you want to eat a cherry pie, you're not mad at that cherry pie.
Exactly.
You just like the cherry pie tastes.
Exactly.
So it's not aggression. Just because a fish eats another fish, he's not mad at it.
Yeah, he's not a bad fish. It looked tasty.
Right.
He's hungry.
Yeah.
So predation is a word I like to use instead of, they're real aggressive, or they'll take like a red-tailed cat.
What comes naturally to him.
Red-tailed cat's not aggressive. It's just hungry.
It's just hungry. And, this is why we overfeed, and yes, it makes me have to clean a tank more. But, the more food that is available to all these fish that isn't each other, the less likely they are to eat each other. And it works,
Right.
I have to clean tanks. So what? I don't have fish eating each other. So,
Fish, it's their instinct to prey on smaller fish because in the wild they don't know when their next meal's gonna come. So if they see a smaller fish swimming right in front of them, they're gonna eat it.
Yep.
Well, it depends on the fish and how it evolved and what its diet is in the wild. I mean, there's some fish that grow up to be vegetarians. There's some fish that grow up to be insectivores. There's
what's weird too is that even in the I can't think of the word all of a sudden. Fish that both eat meat and vegetables. Omnivore. That's the word I'm looking for. So even in omnivores, there are certain omnivores that will prefer vegetables and literally just stick to vegetables, and other omnivores that just get a taste for meat and they're going to eat,
Yeah, and it depends on
I'm sorry, you were both talking at once. I didn't hear either of you.
In the wild, what do Pacu eat?
They're pretty much vegetarians.
I don't know about that. Our
Pacus are vegetarians.
They are. They eat nuts and berries and whatnot, but they also eat. They do definitely eat meat.
Oh, absolutely. They'll actually. That's another thing. Like let's take the Mbuna cichlid, for example. They graze on algae a lot, but they also eat the little critters that are in the algae while they're grazing.
Yep.
But it depends on, like, if you look at the plecos that are primarily true, honest to God, algae eaters, their intestines will be really long. You can tell physically what a fish prefers by the length of
their body.
Fish that prefer plant material will have a really long intestinal system.
Okay.
Whereas fish that are more protein based will have a shorter intestinal tract.
Oh, that's good info.
That's why plecos have such long intestines.
That makes sense.
It takes a lot longer to break down that plant material than it does to break proteins.
See, that's what I like about this place. You learn something new every freaking day. Every freaking day you learn something new. I didn't know that.
You can always teach an old dog new tricks.
Yeah, absolutely. Of course, then that throws a kink in barracudas and pike cichlids and all those longfish that are all about eating
Okay,
meat.
hold up. This moment can't be mixed, or it can't be missed. Fishimon just told you were old, honey.
Yeah. Thank you so
you
much.
You were an old dog.
Yeah.
I just wanted to make sure that we saw that. Yeah.
Yeah, I tried to just kind of let it go.
I bet you I'm older than you. I'm 57.
Really? You sound like a young pup. Your voice sounds young.
Yeah, I might sound young, but I'm 57 years old.
Well, good for you.
Yeah.
Good for you.
Cows have several stomachs, for example. Yes, that is true. Cows do have multiple stomachs.
Now,
Yeah,
Oh,
take
Aquanest.
care
See you
of
later,
the
bro.
fact if a fish has got a shorter intestinal tract and it eats a plant, it doesn't kill the fish. It just that plant doesn't get fully digested.
Digested
before
as
it
well.
comes out.
Yeah, I
yeah,
get that.
it'll come out. It'll come out still.
Which
Half
all of us
digested.
know, if you eat corn on the cob, you'll figure that part out.
It's a little bit like that. Yeah. Oh wow, we may
Yeah.
have degraded once again.
Sorry, I didn't mean to go there, but I had to go there.
Everybody's getting a visual right now, going, "Oh, corn on the cob."
But he is true though. That is true.
It is true. Yep, that's a good analogy. I liked it.
Sorry.
I always know when I ate corn on the cob the next day.
Wait, we're done with it.
I
We
always
can
go to
let
the lowest common denominator.
let's go past that. The lowest hanging fruit is what? Yeah, Terry, the lowest hanging fruit. I appreciate that. And then S just types poop. All right, so we are at an hour 50. I think we should definitely end it on poop because
Hey,
you know
Casual Aquatic, thanks for
that
popping
sounds-
in.
that sounds like us. And so let's wrap it up.
Thanks
Say a
for
thank you to
having me on.
everybody.
Mike,
Fishymon, you
once
come
we
on
figure
whenever
out
you
this-
want.
Oh, sorry.
You're fine. Fishymon, come on whenever you want. Terry, come on whenever you want. Seriously, if we're up, you're up.
Mac
And,
Aquatics, please
And
get
that's
in
what I was
touch
gonna
with
say.
us
Once
about
I
your
figure out
father.
the StreamYard thing, I want to have you on. You're a good guy to talk to and bounce ideas off of.
I
Both of
appreciate you, brother.
Yeah,
We'll definitely.
That's great.
Yeah,
We'll
thank
pop
you
up
so much,
anytime
Terry.
you're up. Just let us know, and we'll come play with you until you get bored with us, and then we'll go away. That's how we work. So yeah, S, thank you for hanging out. Thank you for the poop. Patty, thank you so much for everything you
Muppet!
do. Muppet, thanks for hanging. Casual Aquatics, thank you, sir. Mac Aquatics, I hope you got our email address, and our phone number is 727-351-2734. You can text me or call me or whatever.
Oh yeah, what was the link to?
Yeah, Patty was asking who's next.
HSIF, which is Jan, and I don't see her link right now. Can somebody pull her link up? Any of you people?
S just posted it.
Oh yeah, there it is. Okay,
Thank
good.
you, S.
All right, so we all move on to that show, and we will see you guys over there. And thank you all. Have a great day, and well, I mean, I say have a great day, but I'll see you in 5 minutes. Okay,
Thank
bye,
you,
guys.
everybody, for hanging out.